Hello everyone, so this is a new game that I've developed for the Mini LD Ludum Dare 66, and for this game jam competition the theme was RTS, real-time strategy. So if you watch some of my other videos, I did a look back at my Ninja Squad Commander game, so it's kind of the same concept, develop an RTS over a week, but I really didn't have time to work on it all week, so this is about 2 days worth of work, a little bit last weekend, a little bit this weekend. So the game that I've developed is Agents versus Aliens. So I've got the agents, but I just don't have the aliens yet. So I'm thinking maybe I might just make it agents versus agents, or I've always planned on adding the aliens a little bit later, make it like a Men in Black type game. But this game is actually what is now being referred to as a MOBA, multiplayer online battle arena. So it's a game similar to games like League of Legends or Defense of the Agents. It is only single player, so there really isn't a multiplayer aspect to it. But you can see here, I got it where you have the one character that you control, and that's the big difference between a traditional RTS and a MOBA. A MOBA, from what I've read, is technically a subgenre of the RTS genre. So you can only control one character, and later on I would like to add like specific abilities for your character, but right now he can just attack and run around. So you can see, as in most MOBA games, there are 3 lanes. There's the lane up the middle, diagonal, then there's 2 lanes that form a box, and at each of the different sides of the battlefield you have your 2, basically what is referred to in other MOBA games as like a core or your ancient. This is like an agent headquarter or something like that. So once you destroy your enemy's headquarters, then the game is over and you win. Along the path you'll see these big cylinders. Those will be towers that attack your little minions there. So there you see it. Once you destroy the enemy's core, your team wins. And right now there's not much of an ending or anything. It just says blue agents victorious. You'll also notice there really isn't much AI in this game. So basically you're what I call a champion, the guy that you control. You can move him around by clicking on the game area, but the opponent's champion is AI controlled. All he does is move toward you, and he really doesn't attack. You can kill him by clicking on him, then you'll perform damage on the opponent's champion, 20 damage points at a time. And you can see all the little minions, the little guys running around in their suits. I did pick this color scheme where your team is in blue and wears blue suits and blue fedoras, and your opponent wears red and has red fedoras on. And you can see the enemy's minions, they spawn out of their core or headquarters and they move along one of the 3 paths. And once they get to the opponent's core, then they'll start attacking to help destroy their headquarters. But that's the limit of their AI. If I was to develop this further, I'd want to have it where the towers would start attacking, shooting things at the little minions there, so the minions could attack the towers and you could attack the towers as well. I also need to go back in and add some additional models for this. I'd like to have like a little building or something for the headquarters, and then some sort of tower or something for these towers that are basically just cylinders right now. And I also want to add the aliens in. I use Make Human for the human models. If there was a Make Alien, I would use that, but so I'm thinking I'll have to model my own alien model in Blender, so that's going to take a little bit more time. But I did use like the default suit and fedora out of Make Human. I did import the textures for the suit into GIMP, and then I selected the dark areas, I believe by value, and then I used a colorize option in GIMP to turn the dark areas that were originally black either blue or red. So that makes the 2 different colored suits. Again, for this game, I got the textures from what used to be CG Textures, textures.com. I got this little hexagon shape for the floor, and for the 3 lanes I got like this grating metal texture, and this is actually on a terrain, so I just painted using the terrain tool in Unity the 3 different lanes. And also I got a brick texture for the walls that make the boundary around the arena. And you'll notice that this arena is actually pretty small compared to other MOBAs that are out there, so if I was to develop this further, then I'd probably make it a little bit bigger. Having it smaller really helps in testing. I can test things out and try to attack and things like that. Just speeds things up immensely while developing this. Also have updated the fonts from my font archive. I think is like 1,000 free fonts or something. So I just picked something out of there that looked kind of sci-fi, techy, something that would look like in a Men in Black type game. So I just wanted to show off my agent model here in Blender. Again, I exported this out of Make Human and imported it into Blender using the Make Human Exchange format, the MHX file, and I just created 2 simple animations. You can see here standing, so I can play that, and he just kind of just raises his arms up a little bit there. And then the other animation I have is run, so there he is running. It isn't my best run animation I've ever done, but I did use the inverse kinematics and just pulled his legs up there, and I could probably speed this animation up just a tad. When I import it into Unity, I have in my Playmaker FSM, I have 2 states, standing and running, and then using the get game object speed action, which you can get from the Playmaker ecosystem, which is something you have to download and install. But yeah, you get the Playmaker ecosystem. It adds a lot of, you can go out and get a lot of different functions and libraries for Playmaker. So you use that get game object speed, and if the game object goes over, I think 0.2 units per second, then it transitions into the running animation. And then if it goes below 0.2, then it goes back to the standing animation. And it does all the interpolation between the running and standing for you. I also wanted to show in GIMP how easy it is to actually change the color of some of the default textures for the Make Human clothing. So you can go in here and you can use the select tool right here, select by color, and there's a few options for this, but I'm going to use the threshold and select by right here, and I'm going to change select by to value, so that should set it to like how bright or dark it is. I'm going to pull the threshold up just a little bit, like up to 30 or something like that, just to get a little bit more of those darker tones. But I don't want to get the lighter colors like the white. So just go in here and select that, so that pretty much goes in and gets all the black areas around here, but it leaves the white white. I don't want the whites to become reddish or bluish or anything like that. So now that I have those selected, I'm going to go into colors, and I'm going to colorize. So I just pull the hue, so it's kind of like RGB if you're familiar with the color spectrum scale: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So to get red, what we're going to do is pull the hue all the way over to the left, right there. So I'm going to set that to 0. Or alternatively, you can set it all the way over to 360 and you'll get the same hue. But yeah, I'll just set it to 0. I'm going to pull the saturation up a little bit just to give it a little bit more color, and then I'm going to increase the lightness as well. Yeah, I'm going to turn the saturation all the way up. So yeah, using those values, it gives me a pretty good red texture right there. And if I want to change it to blue, then I just pull the hue over to, I believe, about 228, somewhere in there. That gives me a nice blue texture for a suit. And similarly, you can change the color of the fedora hat the same way. I'm going to take a quick look at the Unity project right here. I have two scenes, the title scene, and that basically just displays the title image, which is just a GUI texture right here, centered in the middle. I believe I used a 1280 by 720 image, and it actually does a pretty good job of scaling that up based on whatever resolution the player chooses to use. If I was to go back and tighten this up a little bit, I'd probably go back and make a 1280 or 1920 by 1080 image, just so whenever somebody does run it at that resolution, it doesn't look pixelated or blurry or anything like that. I have a basic menu that's just going to wait a couple of seconds. It's going to wait 2 seconds here for the camera to fade in, then it's going to go over to the menu. The menu is going to wait for the player to press a button, then after that it's going to start the game. Basically all start game does is it just loads level game, that my main game scene. And also have my copyright text, and that just displays the year and my name right there, just so whenever somebody's playing this, then everyone can see that I developed the game. And that just has one idle state. The reason I do that is because I want to have this don't destroy on load, so that ensures that my copyright text right there will be displayed through the entire length of the game. Another thing that I always end up forgetting, but is to add the quit state. So I just have an FSM called quit, and it's going to be idle, and once you press the escape button, see if I can write escape with my mouse here, press the escape key, then we're going to go over to the quit state. In the idle state, we're going to do don't destroy on load. So this is just kind of a cheat or an efficiency right here. I don't want to write a menuing system for a game jam, so I want people to be able to quit the game at any time. So I have this don't destroy on load, so the player can press escape in any of the scenes and quit the game. And you can see there, get key down, escape. We're going to do quit, and when we do quit, we're going to go over to the quit state, and there's a simple action. It takes no parameters, application quit. So here's the main game scene. You can see here in the scene view, we got a terrain, and I just painted the little square with the diagonal in the middle and two little areas for the headquarters or core, and then I put just these walls around it to constrain the player within this playing field. So that's basically it. Everything else is dynamically generated. I got my prefabs right here in the prefabs folder, and just a few right now. I've got the champion, the main guy that you control, got the core, like the little headquarter place. Little minions are the guys that get spawned out that go attack the other core. And I have a ping location object that's just whenever you click on the terrain, that's going to pop up for a second. And then your towers, which really don't do much right now, but those will attack the enemies if I develop this further. Your champion, he has a few different FSMs. He has an attack FSM, so when he starts attacking, he'll wind up, do an attack, and then pause for 0.5 seconds. Now, that's another change I need to add, is add an attack animation, so he looks like he's either punching, or maybe I'll put like a gun in his hand and then he'll be shooting or something like that. So that would actually play that attack animation at that point. Here's the champion AI. So he's just going to move toward the opposing champion and attack. That FSM only gets enabled if it's not set to the current player. Otherwise, the player will be controlling that champion. Here's the animation, as I was talking about. You got two states, standing and running, and those basically just play whatever animation is based on the speed of the game object. We got a health FSM right here, so every time the player's health change, we're going to call this update display. Then go back to the idle. Then also have this reset health right here. Whenever the champion dies, he's going to go back to his own core or own base and get respawned. At that point, we want to set his health back to the maximum health. So I have variables right here for both health and maximum health. And also I have this helper right here for displaying the string over the player's head. And that's one change I would like to make. Instead of having the numbers over the player's head, have like a little bar showing the player's health. And also for most of my objects in this game, I have this team FSM. So once the player's team gets set, it's either going to set it to the blue team or the red team, and each of these is going to go in and actually set up that player to be on whatever team they're assigned. So for instance, blue is team 0, so we're going to set the team variable to 0, and then we're going to set the color of the fedora and his suit to blue. The core is very similar. We have a health FSM that gets displayed when the core is damaged. And I could probably put this in a template. I just didn't think of doing it that way. The core is also going to spawn minions. So after you're going to spawn a minion, then we're going to wait a brief period of time and spawn another one. And after the number of spawns in a wave has been completed, then we're going to go to the idle state for a brief period of time. But right now I just have it where minions continually spawn, but in a later release I may want to have it where it just spawns out 5 minions, then waits 30 seconds, then spawns out 5 more. So that's what that's doing right there. And also I have a team FSM, just like the champion there, but it just sets the material to the blue core material. The minion is very same. Whenever it collides with the enemy's headquarters, it's going to do an attack and I think subtract a value. Actually, I do this in the script, which makes things a little bit easier. And one other thing I had to do, since there's so many minions being spawned, I just have the lifetime of a minion set to a static value. So I have this lifetime FSM, and after 15 seconds that gives the minion enough time to run to the other side and do a couple attacks on the enemy's headquarters. Then it's just going to go to the dead state and destroy himself, because if you don't clean up those minions, then the game will get severely bogged down with all the different little characters on the screen. And tower, it doesn't have much of anything right now, just have the set red team and blue team for the different colors. But I do have a lot of stuff in actual scripts right here. So I have a champion script, and you can see the code for the champion script over here. It has things like the starting position for those guys, how they do an attack, once their health gets down to 0, what to do. There's a core script when the core reaches 0 health, and how to spawn the minions and things like that. Also have a level manager script, and it basically sets up the game level, and it actually handles the mouse clicks and things like that. I may need to move the mouse click handler into a separate function, or maybe into the champion. I'm not sure. And then the minion script. This minion basically gets a couple of waypoints, and after he goes to both of the waypoints, then he'll head toward the enemy's core. Otherwise, when the minion is spawned, he would just go directly to the core, so all the minions would be going down the center lane. So I wanted to have some of them go around the outside in the 2 outside lanes. So I have to tell them, go to the nav points. And I actually have nav points defined, and I actually have the mesh renderers hidden for those, but see if I can enable those. Yeah, I can enable those so you can see it goes to this nav point first before it heads to the enemy's base. Have one in the middle, then one on this other side. So that's a little trick on how to make it so they go around the outside lanes. So that's basically it for Agents vs. Aliens. You can download this game right now on itch.io. My Itch.io account is gatechgrad.itch.io. And I would like to develop this game further. I have a couple of other games that I'm still kind of working on. The Kitty's Adventure and also the Delivery Kid game. I still want to finish those up as well. So I don't know if I have enough time. I definitely want to add some more things to this game, add the new models and add the abilities for your characters, improve the AI, just a lot of things I could do for this game. And so yeah, this is my first experience creating a MOBA type game. I know that's becoming a more popular genre these days. I hope everybody goes out and checks this game and let me know what you think about it. Thanks everyone for watching.